him up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPUp's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving the Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. We like Ric Flair, huh? Showing out like Bianca Belair, huh? Best podcast, fluctuate in the air, huh? From the rings and we win it, don't care, huh? No cap. Throw him up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPUp's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving the Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wrestling RHAPUp podcast. I'm your host, Mari Forth, and with me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Mr. Matt Scott. Matt, how are you doing this week?
Mari, I'm doing well this week. Happy to be in DC. I feel like I've been,
Yes.
It's been like, where in the world is Matt Scott on the Wrestling RHAPUp for like 1 week with Victoria, MF and Cage. It was New Orleans last week. We were doing our recap of the Rumble and I was in Minneapolis. So I'm back in DC. I shouldn't say that for the stalkers who want to come get me, but
yeah,
I'm here right now. But maybe, you know what? If the stalkers are coming for me, I'll be gone before you know it again. So
there you go. Yeah, the fans.
Oh, the fans. Sure.
The fans,
yeah, that's what they like to call themselves. It's like a Mickey James type of
Mickey,
obsessive storyline.
I was thinking it too.
And I don't need it. But Mari, speaking of what we need, how has your week been?
I've had a very busy week. I decided to go on so many freaking podcasts this week because I'm ridiculous. So lots of podcasts to plug at the end of this. Me and Sarah took over the RHAP Graham's Instagram yesterday for Crime Scene. So I think stuff is still up. It's starting to disappear now. So go check that out. But also we are in February and we're doing a RHAP Graham's takeover for every day of February. So if you guys want to listen to your favorite RHAP podcasters take over Instagram, you can head on over there and see who's doing it today. But other than that, I'm ready to really talk wrestling with you, Matt. Let's just really dive right in. There's no news this week. So we just want to remind you, please go and subscribe to the Wrestling RHAPUp podcast if you haven't already. We have our own podcast feed. Yes, please leave your ratings, leave reviews, and subscribe. 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars only, please. And thank you. You can go to robhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast.
You know what? Let me just throw this in too. If you are a super dedicated listener and you're going to go leave those 5 stars, you're going to go subscribe. Let me tell you, if you post a picture, video, or tweet referencing Booker T with a Booker T gift, with yourself doing a spin-a-rooney after you leave those 5 stars, I don't know what we'll do. We'll be really happy. But I'm just saying, if I just like to put bad ideas in people's heads.
I know we need to start bribing people like Asia and Jason do. They're like they did a random raffle and at the end of their season somebody got like something fun. I'm like, okay, we'll think about it. We'll workshop it and we'll come back.
Mari, there is the t-shirt that I did just get from former guest and friend of the pod, Ryan Collins, and it is a kids XL sleeveless red shirt from 2016. It's a WWE 2K17 shirt. Dean Ambrose is champ on it. We could raffle that off.
It's like
we didn't talk about this at all.
I know. And then you raffle it off and then it's a kids XL. Like nobody can fit that.
No, I am like an adult large, but I did squeeze into it once. So like if you're also into that, again, creeper fans, if there's any creepers out there who do want to wear a shirt that I wore or have a shirt that I wore, like We'll raffle it off. I'll also wash it if you want it. So if you want that shirt, subscribe to the pod, leave 5 stars, post a Booker T thing, and let us know you want the shirt, because I will send it to somebody. It's
No, we're
very
not
light
gonna
and
get
small.
any 5 stars because they're gonna be like, everybody's gonna be like, I don't want that.
Okay, well, at least subscribe to the podcast, like,
Oh my gosh.
and let us know that you did, so we could be grateful and thank you for that.
Yes, we're also on YouTube. If you're not watching
Mhm.
our like pretty faces here, you can go watch us on YouTube at the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page. Search Wrestling RHAPup. We are serving visuals, honey. Visuals.
Wow. Visuals.
Unlike a certain R&B diva.
Oh. Mari's trying to call people out.
I know.
We don't want any
All right.
smoke. No smoke, please.
No smoke, because I will be paying money for tickets. I will be in line, facing the girlies for some Ticketmaster tickets.
I'll get ahead of you in line. We're gonna be so sad next week. It's like, I'm so poor. I'm so poor. Beyonce
Exactly.
took my money. Beyonce robbed me, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
It'll be worth it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into the highlights of the week. Each week, we bring you the highlights of the week in wrestling, and we put them in a very handy dandy playlist, either in your show notes or show description, so you can watch along with us or watch along after, whatever you want.
Mhm.
It's there in the playlist. So let's start off with Rhea Ripley.
Boom.
Rhea made her choice on who she wanted to face at the Rumble. Oh, sorry. Who she wanted to face at WrestleMania.
Mhm.
And I think that's pretty good. Like, I think in the past few years, we've gotten like the WrestleMania win. Look at me.
WrestleMania.
The Royal Rumble winner.
Yes.
The Royal Rumble winner explaining who they wanted to face at WrestleMania almost like as soon as possible, because we have the Elimination Chamber so quickly after the Rumble that they need to know what they're fighting for. So this made sense. I saw a lot of discourse online. Rhea Ripley chose to face Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Some people weren't happy about it. Some people were. Matt, what are your thoughts on Rhea choosing Charlotte?
I literally don't care, because here's the thing. We're going to get Bianca and Rhea. We're going to get that at some point. I'm not worried about that. And actually, for a champ versus champ showdown, or, maybe if we revisit it after WrestleMania, like, I would not mind Rhea and Bianca head to head. I think that for me, like, the people who are upset about this, it's all a matter of, like, yes, it is WrestleMania. I get it. Bianca and Rhea at WrestleMania would be amazing. They've been intertwined so much. I understand.
For so long.
But at the same time, I do like Rhea putting a nail in the coffin of her feud and story and everything with Charlotte Flair. I know, I was about to say putting a nail in the coffin of Charlotte Flair, but that's a little dark. And so I just appreciate, like, that we know now, and I hope people could get used to it and settle into whatever we're getting. The one thing I don't like about it is, is Bianca chopped liver? Like, don't you want to prove yourself against Bianca, the champ, the queen, the best? Bianca has been here as champion this whole entire time.
Over
Charlotte showed up a month and a few days ago. And so that's my only thing about Rhea's logic, but we're going to get all of the matches. We're going to see Rhea and Charlotte face each other a million more times eventually, and the same with Bianca and Rhea. So I'm not even really pressed about it, but I do feel like Bianca's a little in the background, which it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, for me, I think I thought this was a perfect choice, because I think Rhea really needs to silence that part of her. Like, I don't know if people remember, but Rhea referenced it in her promo here when Charlotte won the Rumble a few years ago. Rhea was like, "I'm the best, choose me," which was the only reason why Charlotte went for the NXT Women's Championship at a WrestleMania event. And Rhea lost. And we were shocked because we were like, Rhea should have won. This could have been a star-making turn for Rhea, but she lost to Charlotte. And after that, quickly her career like got off track. She talked about in a few interviews how she kind of was like a little bit depressed after that.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
remember?
I do
And
remember that
then
now.
yeah, and then she comes back to Raw. She does eventually get to be the Raw women's champion again, if I remember correctly, with the whole her and Nikki Cross. And then Charlotte comes in and beats the both of them again. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
Rhea really needs to put Charlotte down. That is so dark.
Ah!
We are being very dark today. But I mean, she has been compared to Charlotte since the absolute moment she stepped into WWE. At the Mae Young Classic in what 2016, 2017 one? I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
The moment she stepped in the ring, they were
Literally.
calling her Charlotte 2.0. Like
Which is wild.
it was
Which was
wild
wild at the time
at
too,
the
because it's
time.
like,
Yeah.
yes, you're tall, you are a white
Blonde.
woman, you are
Yeah.
blonde.
At the time, she
I
had
don't
the
see
long
any
blonde
other
hair.
comparisons.
Exactly.
And I still
Especially at
don't.
that time.
And I still don't see it. And I don't think, like, I think it's been good for her. I'm curious about your thoughts on those comparisons, because I feel like it's been good to set her up so naturally against Charlotte, but it was totally unfounded to begin with.
Well, for me, I hated them. I absolutely hated the comparisons when she
Mhm.
first got on the scene at the Mae
Sure,
Young
yeah.
Classic. I thought I thought it was undeserved. I didn't think she was doing anything like really groundbreaking. So I think I'm pretty sure she debuted in the first one. She had like long blonde hair. I don't
Yes.
even know if she made it past the first round. It was very like milk toast. She came for the second one, and in the second one, she debuted the shorter hair, the kind of more moshy side of her. We were seeing that evolution. She
Mhm.
made it. She made it pretty far, and she had a really good match with somebody. It's been so long. Don't hold me to the fire for that. And
I don't know which
was it
really good matches.
Kyrie? I
No,
can't.
I don't.
No,
Maybe
Bianca had the good one with
okay, but
Kyrie.
she had a lot. I think a few good
Io.
matches there.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Was it
probably,
Io?
but I mean, I even remember like Rhea Ripley versus who was at the time Casey Catanzaro, which might have been like the
Oh
first
yeah.
round of that second Mae Young Classic, which was really good for both of their perspectives.
Yeah.
For me, that was like Casey's star making performance at the
Mhm.
time. But yeah, no, she's been shining on her own. I
Yeah.
do think though, for me, in retrospect, I appreciate the comparisons because of how it's paid off, but I
Mhm.
hear what you're
It
saying. And
needs to be.
honestly, at the time, I don't remember if I was annoyed or if I was thinking, ooh, like this could set her up for something. I don't think she necessarily deserved to be set up for
Mhm.
something when she first debuted, because like why? Like what's this comparison coming to from? But like I do like where we've gotten with it.
Yeah, I truly just think they did that comparison because she was the second strongest like white lady there. Because of course, like we said, her and Bianca came up together, but Bianca had all of the records, and it was always Bianca and then Rhea. Bianca and Rhea, like all in the the combine stuff that they do there. And so she then in NXT she was pushed, and yeah, it was again for me, some of the moments like her getting pushed, taking the belt off of Shayna when I felt like Bianca should have done it. They've always gone hand in hand, so I understand why people might have thought that, but the way that it felt like the moment that she got to the main roster, like Charlotte Flair made it her mission to like destroy her. I need Rhea to get that lick back. Like I need Rhea to finally make Charlotte lose. I mean, if Rhea beats Charlotte at WrestleMania, I think that will be the first one-on-one loss that Charlotte will take at WrestleMania. Yes.
We're
Yeah.
okay with
The
that.
only time Charlotte has lost at WrestleMania was the main event, the triple threat main event.
Wow.
Yeah. And she wasn't pinned there.
Interesting.
Yeah, because remember, because Charlotte beat Ronda last WrestleMania, and Ronda took the belt off of her at Backlash.
But I don't think that I mean, I would hope that they're not insane enough to keep the belt on Charlotte. This is the thing that's so strange about WWE right now, is that everything we reference, yes, it happened. NXT is its own kind of anomaly because sometimes it's been Triple H in charge of creative, or Shawn Michaels, or
Mhm.
whoever at different points. And I just feel like this is strange because I don't think I wouldn't assume that Triple H would have Rhea go into this match and lose based on how hot she is, but I mean, we don't really know, I guess, yet. Like, what is the Triple H WrestleMania approach? You know, we know what Vince does, and it's
Yeah.
interesting because, like, I look back and I'm like, man, like Vince did some really good things with certain people in terms of creative,
Bianca.
but Bianca being like
Mhm.
number one who jumps out to me, right? And I just
Mhm.
kind of wonder if Triple H has that same love for, you know, some of those
Those
same
same
people who
people.
are
Yeah.
our favorites too. So
Yeah.
we'll kind
Yeah.
of see.
Exactly. And so this again, this only works, and I've been saying it. It only works if Charlotte loses. Like I
Yeah.
said it
Well,
at
no,
WrestleMania.
Mari,
I
there's
said
no
it a
way.
few years ago
Say it. Say it. Say it.
at Extreme Rules. This only works
Mm.
if Charlotte loses.
Mhm.
That that feud between Charlotte and Rhea a few years ago when they were going back and forth, and it was Rhea's kind of like evolution to her heel turn. Like she was still like a good guy, like a good person,
Yeah.
but she would started being sneaky and underhanded, and we get that really good clip of Charlotte said, "Oh, you're learning, bitch." Like, and I was like, this is a great feud if Rhea wins it. I kept saying it. I was like,
Yeah.
I like this feud. I like this feud. And then boom, Charlotte wins the feud. All the air is let out of the balloon. We move on to a Nikki Cross reign for like 3 weeks. And then
Mhm.
Rhea shunted to a makeshift tag team with Nikki Cross as consolation. I don't know. Like it just Rhea needs to win this, and they need to build that feud up again, and Rhea needs to win this. If Charlotte Flair is undefeated at WrestleMania right now, like this is the moment. Like you have a new up and coming star, pin her. Like this is it. This has to be it. Like this has to be Rhea's time. If not, you are playing with all of us, and I'm getting so mad about this. Like she needs to win. She needs to beat Charlotte. And I have no idea where Ronda Rousey is, and I'm okay with it.
I do. The only place I disagree with you, Mari, is that I wish that I knew where Ronda Rousey was. I wish I knew she was
Mhm.
on her farm, petting her chickens, herding goats, you know,
True.
eating cabbage or whatever they grow on the farm. And, you know, that's like, I just want to know that Ronda is
Out of the
occupied,
way, yeah.
busy, you know, milking some cows. Like, just know that she's busy with what she needs to be doing and that she won't be in here. Now, I think it's curious though, because like Ronda, we'll talk more about the women's elimination chamber and things like that, but I just want to talk more about, you know, be on Ronda watch. I don't like to be surprised by
Yeah.
her. I don't like for her to even show up half the time,
Mhm.
but you know, it's good for us to know, like to speculate a
Yeah,
little. And if she's not
it's
coming back soon, that's also totally fine.
yeah, it's really weird because, like, Charlotte beats Ronda and then Ronda's, like, gone, and I don't think we've had any there hasn't been any reports, so
No, she's had her soul broken, and that's okay with me.
we'll talk about it later, but yeah, so we'll see, and, but I'm very happy with Rhea's decision. I'm still so glad she won the Rumble. I think they need to pull the trigger on her. They absolutely need to pull the trigger on her.
I think here's my theory on Ronda, by the way. Not to talk about Ronda because I don't think we want to, but my theory, because they were saying that she lost to Charlotte on like I don't care how many years, but let's say like the 10-year anniversary of losing to Holly Holm and having like the
Oh,
massive
really?
loss. Yeah, it was on the anniversary of that it happened. So maybe in kayfabe, like Ronda had an existential crisis when Charlotte beat her because she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm losing again. I'm knocked off the top." And I feel like you're probably looking up to
I
confirm when that
am.
happened, but I believe it was that same date, which probably should have gotten more play if that was
Right, if
true.
that
But
was the case.
I do believe
And
I
it
saw that
wouldn't
on
be 10
social media.
years. That happened in, like, Like
I said 10 years because
2015?
I don't. Sure, let's call it 7 years or whatever. I don't know. I can't count time. I don't know.
November. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
November. You're
we
right.
love math on this podcast. Mari, what's the math? As I see if there's anything
Why
else
is
on
there like
Rhonda
no
that's come up.
date? All right. Anyways, but like, oh,
She scrubbed
uh,
it from the internet.
2014, 2014, maybe. I don't know. That's stupid. Yeah, if that was really the case, that they didn't follow that up. But we'll revisit Rhonda a little bit later.
Yeah. And by the way, the one thing I'm seeing from Fightful on Rhonda, basically, and I've just looked back over the last few weeks, but WWE apparently had plans they pitched to Rhonda. Rhea was set to take on Ronda Rousey, I guess, as SmackDown Women's
We did
Champion,
hear that a while.
which we did hear, which would have been
Yeah.
wild. But the last line here is that those familiar with the situation claim that Rousey was presented with several creative options, but they didn't work out. The decision was made to move so basically they went with other plans essentially with things. And that this was from January 26th. So yeah, it's funny how often Rhonda's name comes up, but basically it's like, yeah, they creatively things didn't work out. And maybe just because Rhonda knew that people weren't feeling it, and she was just like, we need to figure out something where I'm not getting this hate and losing value, basically.
I don't know about that part. I just know she more than
Losing
likely she gets creative control. More than likely. But okay, I see what you're saying. Like losing, yeah. I don't know.
We don't know.
Whatever.
We don't. Yeah, we can move on from Rhonda.
Yeah.
Bless you, Rhonda, and your chickens.
So Raw's opened up by Cody Rhodes, and he basically refuses to play safe before his match with Roman at WrestleMania, because I mean, Cody wins the Rumble. There's technically only one men's champion right now, so there's no announcement. We know he's fighting Roman at WrestleMania, and he comes out, he does his typical Cody promo, that we've seen so many times in AEW and WWE.
In his
career.
Suit, in his suit is what I was gonna say. I love his suits. They're very distinct. They remind me of a lot of leaders that I look up to.
Right, exactly. He's only missing one little thing, right? So like it was a cool promo. I was watching it. I was kind of tuning in and out because like it's I've heard it before. It gets me every time. I'm cool with it. Like people are complaining like, oh, the people who hated Cody in AEW for his long promos, love his long promos now because they're in WWE. I'm like, dog, it's all the same thing, and it's cool all the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like
no. That's not fair. Because the thing is, these promos, I feel like in AEW, he was like he went a little too wild and a little too
was
far.
very long.
And he was doing the things where he was like, you're like, wait, is he like, is this like a dog whistle to like Trump supporters or like to like, what's he doing? Like, it was just like wild stuff. The conversations that came up around his promos. I remember Arn Anderson holding like his hands up like he was holding a gun to Cody's face and threatening to shoot him. So they went too far there. I think somebody's here to like, and maybe it's Cody, but like, yes, somebody's reeling him in
now. Like,
yeah, he's like, and another thing, I have a gun, I have a Glock on me, like Arn Anderson style. Like, what the hell? But this is better for me than the AEW stuff, in my opinion. But
I agree.
You agree? Okay.
I agree. No, I agree. I think people just want to complain. Like everybody just wants to complain. Just like when a WWE star jumps to AEW or AEW jumps, we just want to complain. People want to complain. They want to stoke tribalism. It's whatever.
Yeah. And I will say this too, that I thought, and I think we'll probably get more in. I'm sure we're going to get more into what Cody was up to on Raw, but in my mind, as I was watching it, I was thinking, perfect. This is perfect. This is exactly what you need to be doing. No notes. This is what it needs to be right now. That's how
exactly. Exactly. And so, of course, he referenced his dad. He referenced Wrestling Dynasties, takes a shot at the Bloodline, and then he's interrupted by the Judgment Day. Okay, so let me tell you about this, right? I actually enjoyed this. Okay. I enjoyed this because we talked about after our Rumble reactions, I was like, Cody eliminates Dom, and that just felt so random to me. Like we said, we thought maybe Ray would come back out and eliminate Dom. It just felt random, but I love that they followed up on it. I'm like, thank you, finally. We are following up with storylines that develop in the Rumble and bringing them out to be fleshed out. I was like, thank you. So yeah, you had a comment.
Thank you. That was a thank
yes.
you.
So Dom and the Judgment Day, they come out. Dom is like, you took my dream. And I love this whole like you were given everything, Cody. It's kind of funny because it's like we know that's not the case.
And we know Dominic Mysterio that you debuted when you were like 7 years old, not because of your talent, because Eddie Guerrero wanted to pretend to be your father. Like that's just what
and
it
he
was.
is playing into it. His I don't know if anybody's on Instagram or whatever, but Dom put a picture. He dressed up as Eddie Guerrero, I think, at the Rumble or before the Rumble, and put like stunting like he put stunting like my daddy on like as the music and the mullet. And it was the first time that I realized the mullet that he's been growing out. He's literally growing out the Eddie mullet. I was like, oh my God, how have I been like
I hate this. I hate it.
And then calling Rhea mommy. I was like, oh my God, this is Eddie and China all over again. And
oh my God, Mari.
The moment I realized it, I was like, this is why I love this storyline. Because when I tell you Eddie Guerrero and China as Mamacita was one of my favorite storylines of all time in wrestling. It is literally one of the storylines that I remember vividly as a kid and watching and being like, this is the only reason why I'm watching this show. I want to see Eddie Guerrero make all these weird sexual innuendos around China as she tries not to laugh. Like, this is what I'm here for. And I just freaking I'm literally realizing it now. And I just think it's perfect. I think that the Judgment Day, we were talking about it in the middle of the summer last year, like, okay, the Judgment Day, they moved on from Edge, but then Rhea gets injured, and it's just Finn and Damien trying to hold down the fort. And we're like, I don't know if we don't know if this is working. We were really like not sure. And then they recruit Dominic. Rhea comes back. It's firing on all cylinders. Basically, the Judgment Day is about to celebrate a year there because they formed like right after WrestleMania. Yeah. So like, I'm shocked at how good this storyline is. I know a lot of people hate Dom, and every week we come up on this podcast and we try and decide if it's go away heat or if it's like
I want him to go away, but
I love
it's
it
because he's so good. He's so good in terms of the role he's in, and part of it's him and his ability to deliver. I think most of it's just like the circumstances around it. And then he's playing off of so many other people with, sure, Finn and Damien are there as two veterans in the business. Rhea is so established and really coming into her own. So like she brings out a lot in him. Ray, the opposite of him. Edge, opposite of him. Beth even in there. Like there have been so many people who he's been able to learn from playoff that I think it works so well. And speaking of things that work so well, the YouTube version of this podcast works so well. If you want to check out this picture of Dominic Mysterio with the Eddie Guerrero mullet, which is beautiful. And by the way, Mari, beautiful call on this.
Yeah.
I have to say, in the comments on Instagram, I see Vicky Guerrero mentioning how this photo of the two of them side by side would have been great in the custody case in 2004. So Vicky still has that on her mind. Is Vicky still trying to get custody of Dominic?
Oh my gosh.
I never thought about that level of it. But yes. And Rhea also commented and is happy with it. The one and only Stan C, WWE's own Stan C, also liked the picture. So it's beautiful stuff. I'm very happy for Dominic and his I mean, it's a good haircut now, but it was horrible for a while.
It really was. We now see the vision. We see the vision
Yes, the
now.
vision's there.
Because we were like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So this is good. Yeah, I think it's so good, and you know, people will have differing opinions on how they feel about Dom. I think him being so green, him coming off with this like trying to act hard but not, always
Yeah.
referencing the prison thing. It plays so well. Like it plays so well. Like, I love it.
Mhm.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so Judgment Day comes out. They confront Cody Rhodes. Cody's like, I could really just not do anything, but you know what? That's not me. So I'm gonna face Finn Balor
Uh-huh.
tonight. And so Edge and Beth come out. It was good. I think what we're gonna get is Finn versus Edge at WrestleMania. It
Mm,
looks like that's what it's shaping
yeah.
up to be, if I had to guess. Because Finn and Cody Rhodes, this was their first time
That's
wrestling, they said. Yeah, because Finn left Japan before Cody left WWE. So they like went the opposite ways.
Yeah, and
Like,
Cody had like a hot, I mean, obviously Finn Balor has his history with the Bullet Club as one of really
mhm,
like the essential members of the Bullet
the
Club
the
in its
founding.
yeah,
Mhm.
founding members in its early days. And Cody had a cup of coffee in the Bullet Club,
Yeah.
kind of
He
like
did.
barely,
Mhm.
but he did. And I think Finn actually referenced that and referenced at one point in his promo. I feel like when I was watching Raw, there was something he
Yeah,
mentioned that was a reference to that.
I think so
But
too.
it's good that they get to come together. I honestly don't care all that much about like the Bullet Club, continuing those stories, but I do like the idea of, and actually the execution of Cody versus Finn,
This
because
was a good match. Yeah, it
that
was
was a great
a
match.
good free match. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we said, the Judgment Day tried to get involved so that Edge and Beth came out to even the playing field because Rhea had come out to help, and
Hmm.
she ends up taking a great spear by Beth
Man,
Phoenix.
Beth
Oh,
was
she's
just
on fire.
she's on fire, and I think it's interesting. Like she always has her big hair, like I would almost call it like
Yeah.
phoenix. It looks like a phoenix, literally
Yeah.
on her head. But that one, she's like she knows that if I'm gonna show up on a show and do one thing, it's gonna be intense. It's gonna be fire. So
Yeah.
I'm into it, and I'm also very curious where like what Beth and Rhea are doing, because there's obviously still that story
Yeah.
continuing on Raw,
Right. Yes, exactly. Hmm.
right?
Yeah, mhm, yeah, because Charlotte didn't make an appearance this week,
No. And it doesn't really
and
make sense for Charlotte to, like, the thing is there's no rush for Charlotte to show up. I think she
right,
needs to address Rhea to begin to build toward the match, but it gets like kind of convoluted if Charlotte shows up, because then it's like basically, at least just breaking down the women, it's like Rhea on one side and then Charlotte and Beth on another side. And it just doesn't really, I don't think we're going to see Beth Phoenix and Charlotte side by side.
no, no, no.
So I don't really know what's happening, but
So,
yeah.
right now it's basically like Rhea's a heel, clearly, and
Yeah.
Charlotte is heel light. She's like
But she's a face.
she
She is a
okay, all right,
face.
okay,
Mari, she's a
all
face by
right,
Charlotte standards.
okay.
Okay, yes.
Right, right. She's she's a
Tell me
Charlotte
more.
face.
Tell me more of a time that like tell me a time that Charlotte's been more of a face than she has now.
Don't ask me. You know
Probably
what I'm gonna say.
NXT. Like,
I Charlotte will never be a face in my book. So they have to. It's like the face versus face match. It's like when Sasha and Bianca were gonna go up against each other. It's like
mhm,
you kind of have to find ways to
yeah.
let them mix it up without mixing it up. So I think having Rhea really like maybe beat up on Beth for a while might be good. Like,
I
it's weird.
mean,
Like, it's so
does
weird, the dynamic.
Charlotte save Beth at some point?
I
The
don't
thing is,
know.
it's so weird to think about throwing Charlotte in the mix with all of this because everything we're talking about right now, there's Rhea and the Judgment Day, but then there's also Cody intersecting a little with the Judgment Day, but
Right.
also Cody is going for Roman and the
Yeah.
Bloodline, which also like my head's starting to hurt as I think about all the storylines that intersect, which I actually love,
Yeah.
but it gets weird just to the idea of Charlotte being involved in any of it because she just
I
seems
don't
like
think
she's
she will
in her
be.
own, it just seems like
Yeah.
she's in her own head on her own island. And yeah, I don't think she should be, or I don't think she will be, but it would be interesting to
And
see because I
and
don't know
right
what to
now
think.
And right now, Rhea has the fortune of being like, if we're still going by draft standards, she is still a Raw superstar. She's not a SmackDown superstar. So they can kind of stay away from each other for a little bit longer. I love the introduction of Cody Rhodes here. It all made sense. I think this will cap. I don't think we'll see Cody Rhodes really facing off more against Judgment Day. Maybe if he's just kind of a stand-in partner for
Mhm.
Edge for a build-up, like, him and Edge versus Finn and Damian for a while. But Cody is clearly like he's back to get some. What's the opposite of
Get
heat?
some. Wait, get some what?
What's the opposite of heat? Because like we said, he's a babyface who's been on.
Joy, love,
I know.
love,
Some love,
celebration, cheers,
some cold, some
fanfare,
chill.
some chill.
No, no,
Yes.
no. Like, because like we said, he's a
Cool.
baby face who people love, and we wanted him back and we wanted him to win the Rumble, but now he has to put in the work to get the people behind him because
Mhm.
we'll talk about it in a minute. On the flip side, like
Fickle.
yeah, Sammy versus um Roman is getting like the really, really loud reactions. So
Okay.
Cody needs to build up, he
But
needs to get that.
We're getting Sammy versus Roman as we'll talk about like at
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber. I don't know whose voice that was supposed to be. But yeah, we're getting it.
Yeah, we are. We're getting it. So
Now,
we'll see.
we're not getting it in the way that people want it at Mania unless something changes. But I think the beautiful thing, and this is again back to the people being upset about the Rhea Charlotte match versus Rhea and Bianca. It's just like, look, we have time. We
Yeah.
have life to live. We
Yeah.
have SummerSlam. We could have Sammy and Roman at SummerSlam if they drag out the storyline even more. So that could be a
True.
rematch. So like, I don't know. I always feel like wait and see feels like a little timid, especially for us as
Mhm.
podcasters and for us as wrestling fans. But I'm okay with trusting that the Sammy Roman story is going to do what it needs to do. They're not, I don't think Triple H is dropping the ball on that, or that Sammy and Roman are dropping the ball on that as well as that's gone.
Yeah. And so exactly. So with that, let's just take a quick break and
Thank
we'll
you.
come back into more of the Bloodline versus Sami Zayn. Okay, so I completely agree. So let's move over to the Bloodline
Wait,
and what
Marty, what do you agree with? That was so long ago before the break
before the
that
break. No, I'm saying that the Bloodline and the Sami Zayn storyline is like really good, and Roman is sweating because on SmackDown we got the Bloodline in basically complete disarray, and during WrestleMania season, which Roman rightfully pointed out, like, it's WrestleMania season. Jay did not show up to SmackDown. They have not heard from Jay in a week. Roman was telling Jimmy and Solo, find Jay. The wise
wild.
man, Paul Heyman, was like, I don't know where he's at. And Roman eventually sends them to the bus. And then Roman comes out with Paul Heyman, like trying to tell his side of the story and say how Sammy had betrayed him. But it's very interesting, right? Because if you saw when he came out, his shirt, like, he normally has the Bloodline shirt on, right? But
Yeah.
his shirt this week only had him and Paul Heyman on it. It only had
Mm-hmm.
Roman and Paul Heyman on it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm wondering if it's
Yeah.
signifying that Roman is losing trust in everybody around him.
Roman is wild because
Yeah.
what he's like, he reminds me of Mari, I feel like this is a little bit more of your zhuzh, but he reminds me of like the cult leader who's like got their shit together and then all of a sudden starts to lose it and becomes really paranoid, and they're like, maybe behind everyone's back doing a little bit too much like of the drug, poking other things, maybe,
Yes.
who knows, but like they lose it and he is losing it because there's no world where this man needs to be so pressed about his family. Like, I get it, Roman has a huge heart, he's a family man, but like at the same time, sir, you are Roman Reigns. You do not need any of these people. You definitely don't need Jey Uso, but you don't need any of these people around you because you're Roman Reigns and can do it alone. But it's just like this thing of control. Like with a cult leader, he is very much like, you're my follower. Don't leave me. You are mine. Like that's his thing. And the control is just seems like to me to be for the sake of control as opposed to the fact that he actually needs anybody. It's not like he has like the Big Show in his corner or like he's losing one person out of a family of like 17 people. Like it's fine. Like call Rikishi if you need somebody else to show up. Because
but to him, it's like the loss of one is almost like the loss of all. Like it's shaking his faith in the rest of them, you know?
But does it really bother him is my question, or is that just his control, his power and control taking over?
All of it.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's the cult thing. I think he's just losing it a little bit at this point.
Because his power, he knows his power is in the bloodline around him. That's why he's been able to hold these titles for 800 and something days. With the bloodline slipping away, it's almost like he knows the titles are going to slip away too. And so this was just so powerful, like him and Paul in the ring, and then like Sammy blindsiding him, and like the reactions in the arena were deafening. The crowd reactions on this segment, they could probably like do the stadium. You know how they do like the Richter scale for like the football stadiums to see like how loud the crowd noise is. That's how like South Carolina came unglued for them. And it is, Sammy got a few good punches in, and then Roman turned the tides on him and got control back. But I love Roman sells so beautifully. Like even when he was beating Sammy down, he was still selling the punches. He was still like selling when Sammy hit him with a spear. He was selling his ass off. Roman is so freaking good. And anybody at this point who's still saying that Roman sucks is not paying attention.
No, and I mean, talk about a bad take. Like, I mean, because
always been a bad take.
It's always been a bad take. And I would also argue just more broadly that like it's normally a pretty bad take in WWE when you're looking at the top person who they decided to put on top and you're like, they suck. Like it just not like John Cena never sucked. Maybe some of the booking got boring, but like I'm over that. I love how he sold here. I love how Sammy kind of just comes out of nowhere and like flattens Roman, and Roman really took it. Like it didn't look like, sometimes we'll see bigger or stronger people kind of, half sell or they fall to one knee. Like Roman was out like anyone would have taken him out. And like that was a beautiful moment for Sammy. We also got, of course, the spear that Sammy hits on Roman after Roman gains control. So Sammy regains control. And I mean, I love this. And I love how the crowd is still so into it and still like on the edge of their seats for Sammy and what's going to happen. Sammy having these moments and being at this point in his career is just awesome. I feel like this is unforgettable, an unforgettable run for him.
I completely agree. It was so amazing. And again, it's going to be hard to translate that crowd reaction to like a WrestleMania match between Cody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think so, because this is a storyline that's been building for months now. And so after Roman regains control but is thrown from the ring, then we finally get Solo and Jimmy out to help beat up Sammy. because it took them a minute to get from the bus where they're eating sushi and steak, apparently. Um,
Oh
and
gosh.
so then we get a very powerful moment where, like you said, can you bring that picture back up? Sorry.
Yes.
But as like it's going off, like Roman is literally just beating the crap out of Sammy and talking directly to Sammy, directly to camera. Like that audience probably couldn't hear anything because
No.
there was no mic.
Ooh.
Like there
Yeah,
was
and it
no
was
mic.
great because they were chanting like, "We want Jay, we want Jay, we want
Mhm.
Jay," and he's like, "You hear them? They're chanting for Jay. They're not even chanting for you. They don't care about you. They don't want you." Like, Roman, there we go,
He's
and they
so
kept
good.
going. It was so
Like,
good.
can you imagine just being in that audience? You're chanting "We want Jay," and you're just seeing Roman like whisper to Sammy essentially, and
Mhm.
on TV's catching every word that he's saying, all
Beautiful.
every malicious line. It was good. It was great. Michael Cole said that this storyline deserves an Emmy, and I have to agree. Like,
I mean, yeah, where are the Emmys? Has WWE ever won an
I
Emmy
don't
is
think
my
so.
question.
I
Probably
don't think
not.
so. They always submit. I know they always submit, but I don't even know if they make nominees. I don't even think they've been nominated, actually. I don't know.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that. We'll look into it. But yeah,
Interesting.
so great storyline. And this week on the WWE YouTube, they put up the Sammy and the Bloodline complete history, which is an hour long, but it has everything from since last year. So we included that in our show notes playlist as well.
We did.
For anybody who wants to see it. I mean, it's great. We talked about it. We talked about it last week, just how nuanced this whole thing is and whose
Mhm.
story is it really. And I
Yeah.
just love it. I love it.
And I love how, I mean, the people kind of have what they want, at least short term, in terms of Sammy and Roman going head to head at Elimination
Oh, yes.
Chamber
Yeah.
on Saturday, February 18th, 8
Mhm.
p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So we'll see it. And it'll be really interesting to see how they go about this because of everything you said with Cody. Like,
Mhm.
Cody. Like he's in such a tough spot because he came in at number 30, but they're acknowledging that and having him prove himself.
Right.
And it's like, how at Elimination Chamber do we set up the story better for Cody, either in like resolving something for Sammy and Roman, or do we not do that, and then Cody goes into Mania at a little bit of a disadvantage because everyone's thinking of Sammy? We'll see, but so far so good. It's just like a
Mhm.
risky business they're doing.
Exactly. So very, very interesting to see. On February 18th, we will be taking over the RHAP Instagram account. So we'll be just,
You know us.
documenting our day as we get ready to watch Elimination Chamber. We'll
Where's the
do
show
some fun
happening?
things.
Where's the show happening? Not in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I'm not sure. I
We'll
don't
find
think
out
it is
because
it.
Mari might go. We might send Mari there to be there in person. Or if anyone's listening and they're
Uh,
gonna be at Elimination Chamber in person, like let us know.
yeah.
Because we'll be on the Instagram doing the things. I don't know. We might want some
Yeah, if
like
you
live coverage.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you tag us, we'll like repost it. That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
tag us. We'll repost it. We
Yeah.
could do what we want. We'll be in charge. We're taking
We'll be in
over.
charge of
It's
all
like
those
better than
followers.
better than NXT. Well, I guess I was gonna say better than NXT Takeover, but that's blasphemy. But there's no longer any NXT Takeover, so you can have our takeover.
Right. I think, but there is like a Vengeance Day today, right? Isn't it like
Who even
NXT
knows?
Vengeance Day? Yeah, I know.
Sure, they do their
I,
things.
I fell off. I love all the superstars down at NXT. I'm so happy for them, but I
Uh
fell
huh.
off so hard. It's so hard to watch this much
Yeah.
wrestling a week.
Look, they're doing things, and I will find out before I finish this sentence where Elimination Chamber is happening. Oh, they said it. They talked about it. Montreal. It's in
Oh
Montreal. So like
yeah. I
Sammy
forgot. Yeah, Sammy, yeah.
home
Yeah.
place. Yes, that's it. We won't be there.
Duh.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
Okay. So, speaking of Elimination Chamber, let's
Oh,
talk about some of the Elimination Chamber matches that have been announced. So, it was announced that the winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber will face Bianca at Wrestling.
uh,
I'm just turn off the turn the winner. Is there a planet is there a planet that's in retrograde or
Is it
something
a
right
full
now? 'Cause
moon
I
right
just
now? Oh my
uh,
gosh. Someone
that's
must
funny.
be hacking the pot.
I know. My brain is like
That's a
mush.
good. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's my third podcast in a row, like day in a row. Like cut me some slack.
Oh my god. I love, by the way, I hope that if anyone is annoyed by the laughter on this podcast, that you know that you better listen to a different podcast because it's gonna happen. And good times. Yes, they
Oh my
will be
gosh.
facing each other in the wrestling. And um
At
go
WrestleMania,
on. I appreciate, thank you
the
so much,
winner
Mari.
of the Women's
I needed
Elimination
that.
Chamber match will face Bianca at
Beyonce, 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 Beyonce.
I am not doing this on purpose. This is so bad. Okay.
Ooh, okay, wait. Let me try. Let me. Ooh. Ooh. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. 10, 9, 8. Ooh. The winner of the Elimination Chamber match up. I pulled up the graphic
Thank
to
you.
ground me in what we're doing. The winner of the Elimination Chamber matchup for the women will face the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair. Beyonce at Wrestle Kingdom. WrestleMania.
Yes. Okay. All right. Yes. So we got that announcement. We got it a few ways too. Like it was definitely like a blinking you'll miss it type of thing. So
Mhm.
first off,
Mhm.
first off, Adam Pierce announced it. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But basically they announced that 4 women were already qualified for the match. Those 4 women were Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan, Asuka, and Nikki Cross.
Yeah, as the final 4 in the Royal Rumble.
They were the final 5, but yes.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh,
Right,
yes.
exactly.
Math, yes.
Yeah,
The final
they
4 who didn't win is what I
yeah.
was going to say, Mari.
No, not you. I'm not saying it about you. WWE was calling them the final 4. I'm like, that
Oh,
is
that's
not the final
hilarious.
4.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
like
must be why I said it
that's
too.
why you said it. Yeah. I was like, that was dumb. So
Yeah.
because they announced those final 4, then they had 2 extra spots open. So they announced a fatal 4-way on SmackDown, and then they that just happened this week, and then there's going to be a fatal 4-way on Raw that's coming up this week. So the fatal 4-way on SmackDown included Natalya, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi Blackheart, and Zelina Vega.
Mhm.
So when you saw this lineup, who did you think was gonna win?
Look, I don't, not Natalya.
Mm.
Bingo. Like,
I thought it was gonna be
honestly,
Shayna or Shotzi.
Shotzi fit. I mean, because if we just think about the chamber,
Mhm.
Shayna, I mean, she was in the chamber. She's a killer. Shotzi,
She eliminated every person in the chamber.
Shotzi has the tank, the taking care of business machine,
Mhm.
transportation mobile, scooter thing that she rides out. So like that also fits with the chamber. I could see her riding her little tank through the side of the chamber, just going in. But and Zelina. I mean, Zelina had a great Rumble performance, and she actually had a great performance in this match. But
Mhm.
Natty was like number 4 in terms of who I would have predicted would have won here. No shade to Natty because she's like the greatest. I mean, she is maybe the most underrated ever,
Mhm.
but that's a conversation for a different time. But damn, she did it. You don't underestimate a
Yeah.
Neidhart, as they all
Yeah.
say, right?
Yeah. I think it yeah. And I don't want to say just because they're going to Canada she won this, but
Oh. Do you
'cause
think
they're
you
going to
think that
Canada, so.
she's I mean, Mari, Natty could sell tickets in Canada.
Oh, duh. Yes, 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 yes. And
Thousands,
she deserves. Like
dozens.
we
She has
don't
a lot of
we
family members in Canada who wanna buy tickets.
we might throw a little shade at Natty, but it's because we appreciate her and we know she can take it. Her and her
I
assistant that
love her.
tweets for her, like she's so amazing. Yeah, and honestly, I think it's gonna be one of those other four women that were already, announced. I
Who
feel
wins?
like so. Yeah, who wins?
Well, I mean, on
Um,
the Raw women's side, who are the people
do you
who
have
could
the
qualify?
graphic?
The 4 no, because it's the graphic okay, wait, let me tell you. So the graphic of the four women couldn't find it on www.com for the women who are in that qualifier next week. They showed it on Raw,
They showed it on a clip. Yeah.
and it was 4
Oh,
people.
sorry, I got it. It's
Yes.
four people. It's
It's like we're
it's
not gonna
me.
find.
It's Michin.
Yes.
Um, Carmella's back. We know Carmella
Yeah.
is now back. She had
Good
a
for her.
little run-in with Asuka backstage.
Uh-huh.
Piper Nevin
Uh-huh.
and Candice LeRae. Yes. Yeah,
Huh.
because Candice LeRae, which makes me sad because I would like
All
many
of
of
them.
them to be in the
Yeah.
chamber. Yes, I'm like, damn, like
I mean,
we're only
yeah,
getting
there's
one
a
of them.
case for each of them. I mean,
Yeah,
and Carmella's just returning, which is interesting.
yeah.
But like Piper, we've talked about just like I mean, they could do so much with her. And it is a question of like, does she end up in there with Nikki Cross in there, also with Raquel as the other big strong person in there? Like, what do we get? Oh, well, and well, I guess this isn't storyline as much, but Natty and Piper had history in terms of injury that Natty had to her ankle a while back. It's just very random. And yeah, Mari, on the Raw women's side, who you got?
So I want it to be Candace because I want to see Candace in the Elimination Chamber and I want her to
Yeah.
get like more story. But I feel like it's gonna be Carmella just because of that Oscar run-in. Like like
Yeah.
and then also what I was gonna say is what if Ronda Rousey just shows up and decides to
That's what I was
insert
thinking.
herself. Yeah, exactly. And decides to insert herself because Bianca had this really great promo. They cut it from the television. They had advertised that she was going to come out. I think they didn't have time, so they did a backstage exclusive. It still worked because I love this side of Bianca because she was like sultry talking and she was like
Mm.
showing like she can
Mm.
it was almost kind of funny because it did feel like she wasn't trying to be too loud. Like it's like something was happening and she didn't want it. But
Yeah.
it was a little bit different than the I am the ESC. It wasn't as bombastic as it normally is when she's in the ring. It was very like calm and assured and confident. And she was like, she said a little bit like, I wanted Rhea to pick me because I want to go up against the best, but it's okay. I respect her decision. So she announced that the winner of the Elimination Chamber would face her. She announced the 4 women who are already in it. So I think that what was the original question? I think that
I'm not even gonna help you.
I know. This would not have been that 4 that I put in there.
Yeah.
And then saying that she wants to face the best, I could see it being like a dog whistle to Ronda to come in and just jack everything up and force her way into the Elimination Chamber. And then because I saw people saying that, okay, if we're not getting Rhea versus Bianca, we should get Ronda versus Bianca. And I was like, why would you want that for my fave? Like, I don't want that for my fave because I think
I'll
I
give
think no
it
matter
to
what,
her.
Bianca's losing
Yeah.
at WrestleMania.
What?
I think she's losing at WrestleMania. I think she's had it for the whole year. I think she can. I think she's gonna lose it, and I think she needs to. They'll figure out how to use her away from the title picture because she can stand on her own 2 feet. She doesn't need the title.
I'm
So
stressed.
yeah, I know.
Stressing me out.
Mhm.
Stressing me out, Mari. You're stressing me out because I do feel like I want to see Bianca as the forever champion. I want her to have the championship longer than, like longer than anybody. I just want her to keep going and going and going. She doesn't need it, to your point.
Yeah,
But
he
I
doesn't.
mean, if they do put her in a match with Ronda, would I be mad? No, because I think it'll
Mm-mm.
be a great match on Bianca's part. Like I just can't think of any. The reason I'm okay with
That
that is because
carry job, oh my
I
god.
can't think of any matches that Bianca, that haven't been like amazing. They're definitely good
Mhm.
matches, like, but at Mania, I don't know. I would just hope that Ronda would spend her time training for like that single match like she did for her first year of matches that were a lot more solid than what we've been getting. I
That's
and
the
also
outlier.
I don't want to stress about it either because we'll see what happens, what they do,
Yeah.
but I do like the idea of Bianca having something that's a little more high profile, and like for us as wrestling fans, obviously we don't care about the Ronda Bianca thing as much, but like
I don't think outside
it
media business care anymore.
I mean, like they somebody cares that is not a wrestling fan. People are like, "Oh yeah, I know who Ronda Rousey is." Like even that is maybe better than you could say for some of the other options she'd face outside of the business.
Yeah.
Plus, we also have seen Bianca face a lot of the other women that she could face here, like Becky, Bayley. Who else?
But I'm like my pick for the
Falling down
Elimination
on
Chamber winner
time.
is Asuka. It has to be Dr.
Yeah,
Asuka.
I think that Asuka is the most realistic choice. Will Asuka win at Mania over Bianca? I'm not sure, but
Yeah, that's true.
I do feel like out of the group that we have now, where it's only one mystery person, which we know is going to come from that Raw 4-way, and then
But wait,
Natty,
wait, wait.
Liv,
I'm
Asuka,
sorry.
Raquel, Nikki.
Yeah,
What?
I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Has Asuka gotten a one-on-one win at WrestleMania? She
Probably
lost.
not.
I
Probably
don't
not
think
because she
so.
got that big old loss when she had the undefeated streak
Yeah, well,
back in
against
the day.
Charlotte.
That was
Yeah.
notable. Um,
And I don't think she's had like a
a
one-on-one
one-on-one
match
match.
since.
No,
Yeah, all of the last
like
women's like
or she hasn't. Has she even had like a? Yeah, like what has Asuka been doing at Mania other than not a lot? I mean, maybe she had like a tag
yeah.
match
Did
that she was in.
she got injured a few
She
times?
did get injured 2 years ago. She was injured in the teeth face area.
Yeah. This could be it. Asuka deserves a win at WrestleMania.
And Triple H is an
Mhm.
Asuka person.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love this dark character. So this could be good. Like if Bianca if Asuka wins the Elimination Chamber, Bianca loses at WrestleMania, Bianca could probably
Ugh,
chase Asuka a little bit longer before them finding a different path for her because again, Bianca works really good in the chase. A Bianca and Asuka match. Have we seen that? We've had to we've
I
we've had to
can't
have
tell
seen
you.
that.
I
We've
can't
had
tell
to have
you.
seen that.
I can't remember seeing it. But we definitely haven't seen it at
'Cause
WrestleMania. And you know what, Mari?
they've been friends.
All I have to say about that is shucky ducky quack quack. Give it to us.
Oh,
Give it to us.
Bianca that we saw Bianca versus Becky versus Asuka. Remember it was that triple threat at Hell in a Cell just last year, and
Yeah,
that was
that
a
was like
really
that
good
was weird.
match.
That
It
was
was a
weird.
but it was more on Becky and Asuka
Yeah,
were kinda facing
exactly.
off, but that was a
Yeah.
great match. I remember because we were complaining because there wasn't much story going into it, but the
Yeah,
match turned it.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why, and I felt like it to me. I mean, thinking back about that, it did feel like Asuka was a bit of the. I don't know if it was like Becky was the third wheel or Asuka was the third wheel, but one of them was the third wheel, and
Bianca was the third wheel,
Bianca was, yes, because this was the
unfortunately.
era of Bianca every single week sitting on the announce table supervising.
Exactly, mhm. Or she her and Asuka did go, one-on-one before, Hell in a Cell. Um,
Eh,
yeah.
we need an actual
Yeah,
one of
it
that.
was setting up it was yeah. It was like post-match shenanigans and all that stuff too. Like,
Mm,
and it was a roll
cute,
up. So
cute.
yeah. So they could do a full on. Yeah, that looks like that might be the only time.
Mm.
So let's give that to me, because honestly, I don't. If I could have booked this Elimination Chamber, it would have been Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nia Jax.
You're so problematic.
I am. I'm the worst.
Cancel Mari.
Candice
Mari talks
LeRae.
too much. Please
I know.
block her, and let me know
Candice
you blocked her.
Chelsea Green, and then did I say Carmella?
No,
Carmella.
isn't that fine?
That's
Never.
a lot of.
You know
That's
what?
like
I'm
that
not
feels
gonna
like no.
count.
That's not it. I wouldn't do that. That doesn't sound right. I just
No, but I think okay, but
Carmella
Nia,
and I wouldn't. I
if Nia's gonna take the bump from the top of the chamber
put
to
Piper
the
in there.
mat, I would be interested in seeing that.
Mhm.
But yeah, like Nia could be interesting. I'll let you have that
I'll
one.
put Piper. Yeah,
Piper to like
Piper and Nia.
do like a frog splash off the top of the chamber onto Nia after she
Mhm.
bumps off of the. So I just want Nia to take big bumps because
6 isn't enough. I like a lot of these women, because
we
then
need
there's
20
Michin
women
too.
in the elimination chamber.
I know. Like, it's weird. It's so weird. Like, they have
I'm
so
with
many
you.
good women. I wish they were like. I feel like there's not any storylines developed. Even though we got Io Sky versus Candice, we got Io Sky versus Candice LeRae this week, but Candice keeps losing to Damage Control. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like it's not. We need something else. Like, I need something else.
They need a new women's match type. I don't care about the men. They need a new women's match type that's like and they could use it for the men too, but just something that's like not a Royal Rumble, but like, and not a gauntlet either, but just like 10 women coming in and brawling, like War Games, except more women and everyone for themselves is basically what I'm thinking.
We always want more women's wrestling. I don't know. That's hard. It's hard to fill 6 spots with I think the talent that they have, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good problem. Well, yeah, it's a good
It
problem
is
to
a good
have.
problem to have. But like Raquel and Nikki Cross being in there, I'm just like yawn.
Anyway, we'll talk about it in our predictions
we will.
as we get there, because we'll do that probably on February 15th or 16th. So you could stay tuned and check that out. That is right around the corner.
It truly is. Like they said, Elimination Chamber is going to be directly after Royal Rumble. So the other announcement was that the men's Elimination Chamber match will be for the US title this year. How do you feel about that, Matt?
I love
He thought about it.
Wait.
Right.
Weird. It is weird, and it didn't really like hit me that it was for the US title, so I didn't really like thought about it.
Literally for the title. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, sure. I just think that they should. It's weird because Austin Theory's the champ, and you know, Johnny Gargano, I feel like, is more over than Theory right now. I feel like Seth is more over than Theory.
Oh,
Bronson Reed is back in the action wearing his little Spider-Man, suit type of thing. He is also, I mean, I don't think he's more over than Theory, but I don't know. It's weird. I don't, it's different. It's different, but maybe it's okay.
And we don't know who the two other men are going to be. So it has to be Bobby Lashley, though. You would assume, because Bobby Lashley has been hankering for this US title, and Brock is still being a hater. So do we get Bobby and Brock in the Elimination Chamber here, or
that could happen, which would just suck because we basically have the same people in the chamber, or at least 3 of them would have been the same people in the chamber last year with Brock, Lashley, and Theory. Here's my thing. Here's how I feel about this match. I would have rather had an Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber match. To me, everyone who's in that picture, including the champ, is more of a, a lowercase brawling brute, so to speak. Like they're all
Right.
very aggressive, and we want the big meaty men slapping meat.
Yes.
That fits there. In this, even with the people we have, like no offense to Gargano and Seth, but and even Theory, but like it's not giving meat slapping meat.
Yeah,
And we like that.
that's true. Gunther, and it would have made sense for Gunther's character too. Like he would want to defend and capitalize on how hot he was at the Rumble, because Imperium did face off against Strowman and Ricochet on SmackDown this week for the finals of the tag title contendership, and they lost. Like Imperium lost to a ragtag team of Ricochet and Braun Strowman, who hated each other like on Twitter a few months ago, and were thrown together because they needed to play nice. And they're going up against the Usos, but I guess it only just goes to reinforce that that they're gonna probably lose to the Usos, I guess. But we didn't get anything from Gunther this week. I don't believe. So it's like, why would you not capitalize off of his very, very hot streak?
Yeah, my thing is, I feel like that man deserves a celebration ceremony with confetti next time we see him, where he just walks out to the ring in a suit with his little championship and stuff, and he has the little, like the red tarp covering the ring, and maybe some flowers and some balloons and maybe even some cake in the ring. He deserves a celebration just for how long he lasted. I hope that they spend time acknowledging and like celebrating that and leading into that, as opposed to that just being a thing that we got, a star making performance that we got at the Rumble that's not followed up on. I feel like they'll follow up on it, but
yeah,
I mean, maybe it's okay that we, maybe it's okay. I don't know. I do wish that this was him in this match, because I'd be really excited just to see him beating up on everybody. And I would also think, like, how's this man gonna lose? With Theory, I feel like he's gonna lose no matter what. I don't know to who, but
we'll see. Yeah, we'll have to see. And like you said, we'll dive deeper into it for our predictions.
Well, I mean, I'll just say this, that it's a good way. It would be a good way of getting the US Championship into another match that doesn't involve Theory at Mania.
Yeah,
because
true.
As of now, assuming that's going to be the title's going to be on the line, which I hope it would at Mania, like Theory has to be in it, which kind of, to me, limits the options of who else could be competing for that.
That makes sense.
We'll see.
Yeah. So Johnny Gargano beat Baron Corbin to qualify for the match with like a small package. Seth freaking Rollins beat Chad Gable in a qualifying match. Poor Gable.
So unexpected.
I know. And then Bronson Reed beat Dolph Ziggler for a qualifying match.
Good for him.
Yeah, they just be picking over Dolph Ziggler's bones out here, man.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves. I don't want to say he deserves
just like
better.
drag him out.
He's like, in my mind, like the equivalent would be Natty Neidhart, in the sense that he's really good.
Yep.
But mostly looks very similar to how he's looked over the years. Mostly looks the same for someone who's like aged 15 freaking years, almost 20 years since being there, and he's still doing it. Like, Dolph is so strange. We'll do an episode about him specifically one day. If we'll change our format and just like deep dive on him, because I used to love that man, but he's there. Bronson Reed.
Exactly.
Any thoughts on Bronson Reed, by the way, Mari? I think that's the question. Any thoughts? Yes or no?
I know, not many, honestly. Like, I liked him in NXT. Like, he was cool. He was like just heating up in NXT. I was still watching. Then he leaves.
He was released.
He was released. I heard he did good things while he was released, and then he comes back, and he's what? He was like Mrs. Heavy for a second. Was it Mrs. Heavy? He was somebody's. Yeah, I can't even remember. It's cool. Like, it's not clicking for me right now, but
he's never clicked for me like that. But that doesn't mean he's not amazing. But maybe he will.
Right.
If anyone's really a fan of him and listening, like, let us
Let
know.
us know. Yeah.
Not we don't want to argue with you. We just want to actually understand and be on your side with that too, because
Yeah.
I just don't get it yet.
He seems like he's a talented performer. It's just they haven't given him a storyline or anything to really,
Hey,
bite his teeth into. And
mm,
like I said, I'm not really partial to like monster heels with no charisma. Like
ooh,
I need like charisma.
no
So
comment. But the Bronson stands won't be a fan of that. The Reed
I mean,
stands, do they have a name?
I'm not saying it's from him. I'm saying it's the storyline. The
Oh, I know.
storyline's not allowing him to show anything. You know what I'm
It
saying?
also
Like,
might be him, but who knows?
well, I think he
Um,
showed a lot of charisma in NXT. So
sure.
yeah, at least more than he is now. So I think it's how they're
Yes,
booking him. Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. And then finally, it is official that Bayley and Becky Lynch will finally go one on one in a steel cage match on Raw this Monday. We talked a little bit about this already, but no more running away for Bayley. It's going down. They had a little bit of a promo. Bayley's I love her. She's so like, what is this look here? Like, hopefully you all are watching us on
It's
YouTube.
like a
But
little.
yeah, she basically
She
tells
don't.
Bayley, sorry. She basically tells Becky that, she why does she make the dig about like Seth not choosing Becky and that he only married her because she got knocked up? It's like, what
It's
is
funny.
happening right
It's
now? Like,
funny because it's like, I mean, it was like kind of a stiff shot that she took at Becky,
yeah,
but at the same time, I'm like,
we all know it's not
I don't
true.
care. I
Yeah,
mean, even if it were true,
yeah.
like I'm like, okay, but why do I care? Because I don't. Because
You
this
just
is
love
not
that
my
they
business.
trust each other, right? You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
to do this.
Bailey looks so uncomfortable though, and like she's like, "Oh yeah, he only married you because you're pregnant," and then it cuts to Becky who doesn't have much of a reaction,
Yeah, sure.
and then it cuts back to Bailey who like looks like she's like, "I said a bad thing. I said a bad thing. Who cares?" It was just like Bailey is still to me so much of NXT good girl Bailey, but being a bad girl, and maybe that's like her character. Like she's
Yeah.
not bad, but she'll pull on your pigtails.
Yeah, and it's just so weird and funny because we know how close like her and Seth are too, like how close Bailey and Seth are. So it's
Mm-mm.
like it's just funny. It's just comical at this point. It's like you saw the picture, she's like a super villain. You know what I'm saying? Like a goofy super villain. That's what she's giving off, which I'm fine with. I have no problem with my heels being semi-comedic. Some people
Sure.
don't like it. But no matter what, I cannot wait to see this match. Like, I really want to see this match. I want to see some callbacks to, the original steel cage match. I can't wait to see them just wrestle the house down. Boots.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Speaking of boots, the like Becky basically got the match by threatening to break Dakota's ankle with a steel chair,
Mhm.
which okay, Becky. Like, yeah, I don't know if you
Yeah.
had to do all of that, but um I appreciate that we're at least getting the match and hopefully it gets a lot of time.
Yeah, because
It
yeah,
is
it was cut.
disappointing that
Mhm.
it was pushed back because to me that is a sign of like the level of priority, but also I understand that TV and planning out segments is very complicated
Yeah,
and they had to do what they had to do. Hopefully it's worth the fact that it was pushed back. Hopefully they get more time or it's a
more
better
time.
segment. But I could guarantee you that it's not going to be bumped again.
Exactly.
Or
I
maybe
agree.
it will be. Maybe it will be,
No,
and then we'll get, like, these 2 at Elimination Chamber, but, like, one-on-one in an Elimination Chamber. I'm just making things up
I
now,
was gonna
but
say, why you yeah. I know, I think they'll get full time. I think I can't see them not headlining it. I think,
yeah,
like, they should, so that they don't have to worry about that.
we'll see.
Yeah. And just a little blurb about like we said, Adam Pearce had announced several matches
Yes.
for next week's Raw, and while he was doing so, Chelsea Green came back to interrupt him and
Chelsea!
ask if he was the manager, and if she said she needed to speak to him. Asked where her Swiss chocolates were in her dressing room. She apparently has a writer that nobody addressed.
Good for her that she has standards. Like, we appreciate that for her. Chelsea Green, a queen. The queen, Chelsea Green. Give it to
So
us.
I've never really connected with Chelsea Green,
No,
but
same.
this character, we're watching it. It's kind of giving off Karen vibes, and I'm actually feeling it. I'm actually liking it. We'll see
Me
if she gets
too.
more spots. Like, it's very like, let me talk to your manager.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's almost giving like old like Carmella in a sense, like that one when Carmella was like in that weird kind of bubble thing of the glamour bubble.
When she had a wine, Reggie
Yeah, when
doing
she
the
had Reggie.
little wine.
Yes. Yeah. So
No, I mean, here's my thing with Chelsea Green. Never been that excited for her, was not excited for her
true.
when I heard the rumors of her being in the Royal
True.
Rumble. And then she walks out. And the character work that she did on her way down the ramp to the
True.
ring before being thrown out, and then immediately thrown out, and then the reaction after, like, the acting was all there for me. It was
It was
camp.
so good.
Like, it was amazing. It was a lot of
Mhm.
fun, and I would love to see more of Chelsea Green doing this thing. If it's
Mhm.
more of like a Karen-ish type of
Yeah.
gimmick, that also works for me. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I also love how she's like, I'm a returning superstar. I'm like, yes, you
Yeah.
technically are. You technically
Yeah.
are. And I'm glad that you're acknowledging that and that it's not just brushed under the rug. So I'm a
Yeah.
fan so far of her, and it will be interesting to see what they do with her.
I agree. I completely agree. All right, let's stop for a short break and then we'll be back with the shoot.
Ooh.
So we are back, and this week we will have our shoot segment. The shoot is any unplanned, unscripted, real life occurrences that happen in wrestling, and for us, this is our space to either shoot, go off about something, get mad, or give people flowers.
Mm-hmm.
This week, of course, we want to acknowledge it is Black History Month.
It is Black.
It is,
And we are Black, in case anyone's
and
listening to the audio and just wasn't
yes,
sure.
if
We
you
are
weren't
both
sure
Black.
about it.
Yes.
Yes. So during Black History Month, we just want to like give flowers to a lot of Black wrestling content creators out there. We are like big fans of a lot of the things that people on Twitter or Instagram are doing. We want to thank you for creating communities that are inclusive and welcoming. We've always said that is our goal for our platform, to make wrestling as accessible to everyone as possible, and to highlight voices that aren't normally given a platform in the wrestling community. And we really look forward to like working with more of you, and we're so excited to be a part of a lot of these communities that we've all made for ourselves and each other.
Yeah. Oh, Mari, I love it. And it's like the meaning of it, and I might get emotional here as I talk about this, but like, I remember growing up and you'd have Booker T. You had Booker T
Mhm.
on your TV. And I remember Booker T feuding with Triple H. And
Mm.
that just feeling like it was full of a lot of racial undertones, and also people in the fandom saying that Booker T wasn't deserving and trashing him for that. I think of
Mhm.
Kofi having moments like that where he's being trashed by the mainly white fandom. I think of a lot of the women, Jade Cargill. I think of Sasha and Naomi even more
Mhm.
recently, where these women and these men, because we're Black, we're getting that much more criticism. People don't want to like these characters, and it's amazing to be able to listen to content creators who actually get it and have the same love that we have, so that we know, like, not only are the performers we love lovable, but also like we as Black fans are lovable and we belong here. So yeah, thank you. Like, thank you so much, everyone, for creating that space for us to be here, because it's good to know we're not the only ones doing it.
Yeah. And we say this about everything that we cover when it comes to like reality TV, TV in general, true crime, like all of the different things that me and you cover together, like bringing a different perspective to a art form, which wrestling is only going to be able to enlighten other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If those same voices are seeing the same things but not understanding the nuances of some of these different storylines and characters, then you get an echo chamber that doesn't necessarily benefit marginalized communities or people of color and stuff like that. So being able to platform and amplify not only our voices, but the voices of many of our guests that we've had and many of our future guests that we like to have. Like, we're so lucky that we get to do this. And we're glad to do this with you guys every week for as long as we can.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, yeah. And we want to, and that's the thing. Like, I think the thing that's unfortunate sometimes, not just in wrestling, but for us as Black people, is that sometimes it feels like Black History Month is the time that people want to shine a light on us, and then they don't care about us the other 365 minus 28 days out of the year, sometimes 29, depending on if it's a leap year. But like, the thing is, we're here, and like, there are all these moments. Like, I think last year about Sasha and Naomi, Mercedes Moné and Trinity, and when they walked out, and how disappointed I was in a lot of the coverage, not acknowledging something that was so clear to us. And we still haven't really heard them speak on it, but like, just the racial dynamics, which, like, we're not saying that that's why they walked out or the sole reason, but like, that's a factor, because we know what it's like to be Black people in those spaces. And so I just love knowing that we as Black content creators have power, and I hope that we could come together and like tap into that power to become the dominant voice in this.
Matt, it's been a great week. I'm so glad I get to talk to you every week. And next week, maybe we'll have a guest, maybe we won't.
Yeah.
I'll more than likely have a guest. But where can the people find you? What have you been up to?
Well, you could find me, Matt Scott GW, on social media. And yeah, you could find me, of course, here on the Wrestling RHAPUp, but also on Pod Friends over at RHAPisawebsite.com/Pod Friends feed. This week is an episode with Jessica Leese, who is phenomenal and has great perspective, actually, as someone who not only is a podcaster covering shows like The Amazing Race and The Mole, but also just from the perspective of someone who has appeared on a couple of these shows, Jeopardy and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, a number of years back. And we actually talked a bit about that, and just like learnings about how you treat people on TV and what the fandom is like, and how, if that's hard for someone who was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, how that could be a lot harder for like anyone else who's on TV. So if you consume media of any kind, a great episode to check out. RHAPisawebsite.com/podfriendsfeed, and please subscribe. But Mari, where can the people find you?
So like I said, it's been a very, very busy week for me. So first up, over on the A Perfect Match podcast, a Married at First Sight recap podcast, I joined Jason and Asia to recap the 5th episode of season 15 of Married at First Sight. We had lots of fun. It's all, every time I go there, it's a handicap match. It's always me and Asia versus Jason. And so I had a lot of fun. You can go to the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page and search Married at First Sight. They are now a video podcast like us. So you can watch us and then click over and watch them. Or you can go to the robhasawebsite.com/love at first sight feed in order to subscribe to them. Of course, every Tuesday, me and Tara Carradine bring you Crime Scene, a true crime review podcast on RHAP. This week coming up, we will be dropping the episode about Gunther's Millions. It's a docu-series on Netflix about a... Millions. Yeah, it's about a dog
Oh.
that inherited like over $150 million from a rich countess. But the story isn't as what it seems.
Oh.
So definitely check out Gunther's Millions on Netflix. Yes, ma'am.
How much? You said $150 million?
Yep.
A dog inherited that much money. Meaning
Yes.
that a person had that much money and gave it to a dog.
Yes.
I'm gonna go cry.
Yeah, go check that out. It's a very good twisty turny docu-series, and we reviewed it. It's going to drop on Tuesdays. So if you want your true crimes on Tuesdays, go to subscribe to the Crime Scene podcast by going to robhasawebsite.com/crime feed to subscribe. Please subscribe, and you can listen to us on Tuesdays. Okay, and then finally, I will be on the 90 Day Fiance podcast. I will be joining the Hot Mess Express with the conductor Puya Zambakili, a former guest of ours, former and future guest that we had on here. So I can't wait to talk to him about the 90 Day the Other Way. I think episode 2. So that's going to be fun. You can check that out by going to the 90 Day Fiance feed, robhasawebsite.com/90 Day Fiance, I think. So yeah, lots of things. And if you want to know where I will be guesting next, you can follow me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like a number 2. I will be posting all of my my guest spots on there and everything that I'm doing there. So please go follow me there. And of course, I will also be retweeting amazing Black wrestling content creators there as well. So if you want to know who we are specifically talking about and some of the very great people that we worked with or want to work with, you can definitely follow me on there. You'll see what we're talking about. All right. So you can also send any long form questions to wrestling, the Wrestling RHAPup podcast by sending emails to wrestling@robhasawebsite.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling RHAPup on Twitter. That's at Wrestling RHAPUP. Follow us on Twitter because when we go live with our reaction podcast, you can watch us on Twitter live. And of course, please go join the official Facebook group. The Job Has a Squadcast Wrestling group where we talk with amazing people in the Job Has a Squadcast Facebook group. Shout out to everybody there. We love communicating with everybody there. So go join that. And then finally, every day is a good day to become a patron over at Rob Has a Podcast. By joining the Rob Has a Podcast Patreon, you can go to www.patreon.com/RHAP to become a patron, get exclusive access to different podcasts, patron 5 for 5s. Follow us on Patreon, go sign up, and tell them the Wrestling RHAPup sent you.
Yeah. And you never know when Rob Has a Podcast is coming to your community. That's one thing that we've been able to be part of in the last year, just a couple of the RHAP live events. So if you're a patron, you'll be the first to know.
Exactly.
So sign up.
And you can come and meet.
You meet us or other people who might be there, depending on if they're not.
Yeah. All right. So for me and Mascot, we're saying thank you for joining us. Have a great week. And remember, wrestling is for everybody, but not all wrestling is for everyone. Bye.
Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPup's gonna make you sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Moolah Ric Flair, showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, Roman Reigns and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPup's gonna make you sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.